in November of this past year, 14, we went over to visit some of the Weitzman cousins that had moved here from South Africa. And also one of the cousins were from London, England. And so we talked about the history of our family in Europe. Yeah, Monty Green, my cousin from London, said, well, I'll put it down on paper and let you see who the cousins are. Well, he gave us pictures of our great-great-grandfather, which was my grandfather's mother and dad. And they were from Poland. And then
their names?
Their name were David Hirsch Weitzman and Malka, his wife. And my grandparents were Max and Devora, which were their children. My grandfather, Max Weitzman, had several other sisters, and there were Bavka, Esther, Tari, and Pinchas. And they were all, as far as I know, living in Europe. There were Weitzman cousins. One of them went over and went to Johannesburg, South Africa. And we met those cousins later. My dad ended up making contact through connections in the family with these relatives in Europe. And then we found this relative in South Africa. And the ones in South Africa moved to Boca Raton. They've got 4 generations of Weitzmans over there now. They've got my dad's cousin and his daughter, who's married to Clive Scher, Loretta, and their children, which are a boy and two daughters, and then their grandchildren. And so it's amazing that we have found some of our family, and we also have some family in London that we know of. On the Rosen side, Grandma Rosen and Grandpa was Morris and Katie Rosen. Grandpa's Hebrew name was Moshe, or Moses, which he went, by Mr. Rosen. And he was born in 1870 in Warsaw, Poland. And we found ancestry back to the back to the 1600s on the Rosen side. At 18 years old, he married Katie, my grandmother. She was 15 years old. In 1888, it was a matchup, and Morris's father was Meyer Rosen. He was born in Warsaw, Poland, and Morris's mother was Anna Rosen. She was born in Warsaw, Poland. Katie's father, my grandmother, his name was Arya Tombach. So my grandmother her maiden name was Tombach, and Katie's mother was Minka Tombach, and she was born April 15th, 1873. Grandma, Katie Rosen was an orphan, and her family died of influenza. Her aunt and uncle raised her. She met Grandma on the day that they were married in 1888. And 9 months later, she had a baby.
Now, did they ever talk to the family at all, what it was like to meet the day they got married? It was an arranged marriage. Mm-hmm. Did they ever talk about that at all?
Never talked to me about it.